All right, what's up, everybody that's still with me, at least? I'm here to talk about my Suicide Squad spoilers, full spoilers, so you guys know I will be right from the start talking about everything in this movie. Nothing is off limits. So if you haven't seen the movie, I would check out here, and if you have, then feel free to hang out with me for the next few minutes while I kind of discuss my thoughts and opinions on this movie that I didn't get to talk to in my non-spoiler version. Basically, my overall thoughts, I was disappointed with this movie. I feel like it's the weakest movie in the DCEU, whatever, by a lot. I would give it like a 5.9 if I could. It's the highest 5 I could give. I can't give it a 6, unfortunately. Just for context, and if you guys shut off the video because this is my opinion, I'd probably give Man of Steel a 7. Maybe an 8, and I'd give Batman Ultimate Edition a 9. Really like that. The theater cut of Batman Superman I would give lower than Man of Steel, though. Anyway, so I'm going to be just kind of going through the characters of this movie and talking about what I thought worked and what I thought didn't. Let me grab a pen here. Okay. I'm going to talk about what I thought worked and what I thought didn't with this movie. So we'll start with my favorite character in the movie, Amanda Waller. This is somebody who from the trailers, Viola Davis, I believe, from the trailers, I was like, she doesn't work for me. I watched her 1-minute snippet. I was like, this is no good. She killed it. She was probably the best part of the movie. She held the movie together in every scene she was in was fantastic, and I can't say that for everybody in the movie or anybody else in the movie. She was really, really good. She played her part really well. She killed a bunch of people. That was a little weird, but I liked it. I like doing those. You don't have to stick exactly to the comic books. Just play with the material just a little bit. It's okay. I liked that, though. She's got some field training, and that's fine. It's something I could see her doing, and it instantly makes you dislike her, even though she's somebody you like to hate, which is something that I wanted out of every character. It's the Suicide Squad. They're supposed to be villains. I'm supposed to not so much like them, but be like, oh, they're gray and all this stuff, but this is entertaining, and that's just not what it is. The movie played all these characters as heroes. There was almost no villainous stuff. They didn't fight with each other. They didn't get mad at each other and start, like, if you watch Assault on Arkham, great movie, Suicide Squad animated movie, the villains are villains. They try to escape from Waller. They don't follow the rules. They don't do as they're instructed. They fight each other. They're very egotistical. They all want to show up the other person and everything. That's how this movie should have been, and it wasn't. It was a bunch of people who were basically in jail who all wanted to reform in some way or another. Except for maybe Slipknot. He didn't you really get a chance. Next on the list is Deadshot, Will Smith. I was worried about this part because Will Smith always plays Will Smith, and he kind of did that again in this movie, but it worked for some reason for Deadshot. He was definitely the character you care the most for. He got the most backstory, which is a crime to Harley, but he had the most fleshed out backstory. It wasn't told in a weird montage of blurs. I very much liked his interpretation of Deadshot, and I will say, if Will Smith wasn't in this movie, this would have been just a terrible, terrible movie. Imagine this movie without Deadshot, guys. This is just awful. Moving on, Harley. Harley was weird. So I liked Harley at some points. I didn't like her at others. I'd probably say I was 75% with Harley. I definitely like her enough to want to see more of her, but I loved her look. I loved her little quirks and stuff like that. My biggest problem with her is that she never talked. She literally was just a one-liner machine. She was like a Marvel character. She said one-liners. That's it. Cool. They were well delivered, most of them. There was a couple where I was like, ooh, that didn't hit right. And it typically had to do with the accent type thing she was doing, that New York accent. But Harley, what I liked enough. She's fine. I didn't love her. She was fine. Moving on, I'll do the squad first. Moving on, Killer Croc. Killer Croc, hard to understand. I didn't like his ADR voice. It was very difficult to understand him. He didn't have enough to do, which is a problem with basically every other character I'm going to talk about now. He didn't have enough to do. They were towards the end, they're like, hey, we'll give an underwater segment to Killer Croc because he hasn't done anything. So go underwater and plant this bomb. Captain Boomerang, he was good. Once again, underutilized. Somebody that I would have loved to see more of. I would have loved to see him competing more with Deadshot. Like, they both want to be the leader of the team, and Captain Boomerang's clearly not capable of being the leader. I would have liked to see that development. That didn't really happen. He had the weird unicorn thing that I thought was really dumb. Moving on, Katana, she was completely worthless. Shouldn't have been in the movie. She randomly shows up. Hey, she's got my back. If she cuts you, your soul will be in the sword. That's interesting. Let's learn a little more about that. No, we're not going to really use that at all. She talks to her husband. That's a really sad, interesting story from the comics. Didn't really get that. She's just randomly crying at one point, and you're like, what's this girl's problem? Because you don't know anything about her. She shouldn't have been in this movie at all. And if she was, she should have done more. And maybe somebody kills a member of the squad with the sword, and their soul is on the sword, and we can hear like Captain Boomerang criticizing them the whole time because he's trapped in the sword. That would have been funny. That would have been interesting. That didn't happen. Moving on, El Diablo. I knew he was going to be the savior of this movie going in. Like, it was very obvious from the trailers, and then even more so as soon as he's like, I don't use my powers forever, and it's like, okay, well, he's clearly just gonna use his powers at the end, which happened. It was fine. He looked cool. I liked his like final form type thing. Yeah, I was fairly certain he was going to die. It was true. It didn't feel earned. Once again, he's like, I lost my family, but the only reason I liked my family was because, like, in his vision, he's like, yeah, the kids are asleep, and my wife wants to have sex with me. I'm probably not a great person. And then, at the end, he's like, this is my family. I've already lost a family. I'm not losing them. And I'm like, they were kind of all just jerks to you. None of them actually were nice to you at any point in the movie. And it seemed like some areas where they would have been nice, which we'll talk about in a minute, they weren't in the movie. Like the water, that's a good idea. That joke, that maybe a little more of that would have made me buy it. I just didn't buy it. Slipknot. Enchantress. So Enchantress was somebody who I don't like this actress, just straight up. I don't like the actress who plays her. I don't think she's very good. I think she was the worst actress in the movie actor in the movie that actually had like more than 3 minutes of screen time. I liked her Enchantress though. A lot of people saying worst superhero villain ever. That's definitely not true. I actually liked her as the Enchantress when she was kind of the dark witch, like the gross one with the smog around her and everything, and she did the weird movements. I thought that was fine. I liked when she crouched down, all that stuff. I thought that was neat. When she became the more royal version, the one with the headpiece and everything, I thought it was weird for her to still act like the weird dirty one. She didn't need to do all the moving and stuff when she's in the royalty outfit. She should have acted more like royalty. I just feel like having that switch would have been a little bit better. Instead, it was literally just like an outfit change, and I thought that was a little strange. Also, her brother, the Incubus type character, he was fine. I didn't have an issue with him. He looked a little wonky walking down some stairs at one point, but I didn't have a problem with him, but I thought that was a little dumb. I liked the actual Enchantress character though, minus her decision making at the very end of the movie. If you're fighting this character that for the whole movie has been proven to be able to teleport and go into a mirror and smash someone's head against the mirror and do all these really cool things, why couldn't she just teleport somewhere, get something that goes boom, and teleport back and set it off and teleport away? Like, I don't understand why she's standing there sword fighting these super underpowered members of a team that got sent to save her when the world's gonna end. I also don't know why Flash wasn't there. I don't know why Batman wasn't there. There's just tons of like issues that I have with that stuff that they never answered. Like, Batman should have probably showed up at the end and been like, I don't like you guys, I know you're bad, but we need to take care of Enchantress. That didn't happen at all. Speaking of Batman and Flash and all them, let's talk about those cameos. I liked the Batman cameo. A lot of people didn't like it. Very torn. Very interesting. This movie has way more... the movie is very divided, and it's the most divided movie I've ever seen in my life. And by that I mean, some people hate Harley, some people love Harley, some people hate Joker, who I didn't do, but Joker's going to be next. Some people hate Joker, some people like Joker. Some people hate... the second half of the movie. Some people like the second half of the movie. Some people hate the villain. Some people think the villain was mediocre. Like there's this big torn. Some people liked the music video style of the movie. Some people hated it. I've never seen a movie where more people just pick and choose things that they like and don't like in my life, and it's crazy. I personally liked the second half of the movie more than the first half of the movie, which I know is in the minority, but that's just because that felt like a movie. It felt like what they were going for before all these music video things happened, and they felt really shoehorned in at the beginning. Maybe if more of the movie was the music video stuff, and then the second half was smaller than that part, maybe I would feel the other way, like that the second half was shoehorned, but I didn't. Anyway, the cameos. Batman. Really liked Batman. He was very intimidating. I loved his like punching Harley Quinn underwater. That looked great. I liked when he brought her up. Just the framed shots in this movie were fantastic. The Joker laying down was great. Batman carrying Harley was great. That underwater scene where Harley like bites at Batman was fantastic. Batman coming down for Deadshot. I thought it was fine. Batman on top of the car, love that. That was probably the best like chunk of movie in there. It felt like the animated series, from the music to how Harley and Joker were talking to each other to like Harley's lines there. The "You're ruining date night." That was a very well done line. Big fan of Ben Affleck's Batman. Obviously, I love BVS, so I liked that. The Flash thought was weird. I still think his costume looks really dumb. I think it looks really cheap. I think the CW one looks better in almost every way, except I do like the White Lightning. He came and caught Captain Boomerang, scene directed by Zack Snyder. Sure, cool. It was cool. No one in the movie theater clapped. The laughs for this movie in the movie theater were every once in a while from like different areas. People thought different things were funny, and for the most of it was silent. Like, that's not good. I saw it Thursday night. I saw it the opening. There was people dressed as the Joker there. There's people dressed as Harley there, and they weren't clapping. That's not good. So yeah, I'm just not sold on the Flash, and when I saw him on screen, I was like, yep, this looks terrible. Now let's talk about the Joker before we move into like kind of the plot of the movie. I liked the Joker a lot. We saw like 3 minutes of the Joker. I have nothing to make an opinion on. Like, I thought he was great in his scenes that he did, but they all felt stitched together. It was the editing, I feel like, that really hurt him. And it seems, rumors are, there's been like 10 minutes of Joker that's cut out of this movie. Whether that's because they didn't like his performance very much, but like they put parts in the trailer that are so good that I can't wait to show you my toys, and he's slapping the person's face. That was so good. I got to that scene, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see what the toys are, what's gonna happen. He's gonna be so evil. Nope, it just cuts away, and I was like, oh man, that's awful. Two scenes from the Joker that really stand out to me, and they're two of the only scenes from the movie that I really remember because I liked them a lot. I love the one where he makes the person kiss his ring, and then he kind of like straddles them, and he's like, I can tell you really meant that. That was great. And I really like his smile when he's talking to Harley in the therapist lounge, and he's like, would you do me a favor, or something along those lines, and he's like, I need a machine gun, and she's like considering it, and you can tell he like broke her, and he's just doing this cute like kid smile that's kind of creepy, kind of childish. I liked that a lot. So yeah, I liked the Joker. We didn't see enough of him for me to be like best Joker, worst Joker, in between Joker. Like I just really don't know. I hope that there's an extended Blu-ray version like BVS that has all those scenes just from that, and the bar scene, and the just everything that's missing that we've seen in the trailers. Let's move on to the story and plot, because there's not much of it. I think the plot was dumb, and this is the reason why. While I didn't have a problem with the villain or anything, my problem with the movie is the person that set the villain off was Waller. So Waller messed up, then sicked her team that she made to go fix her mess up. And then she's like, oh, I'm at the end with her with Ben Affleck. He's like, I can do it right type thing. I didn't like that at all, because it felt like they were fighting to redeem a character that is kind of a bad person, and that didn't really work for me. They caused the problem, and then they're solving their own problem, which means that if she just never did that in the first place, the movie wouldn't have happened, and that's how I feel with this movie. I feel like nothing happened to push it forward. in the universe really at all. The only thing that really happened was Batman. We found out that the evil team didn't work, so Batman got the files, and now he's gonna pick and choose the people. Cool. Like that, I don't know. That just didn't work for me. That was my biggest problem with this movie. There was no substance, and I've heard this before. I like a movie that I can watch multiple times, get something new out of. Maybe it asks a question. I really like BVS's. Should Superman exist? What is a hero? Are you a hero if it hurts somebody else to save some people? All this stuff. What's the question in Suicide Squad? I don't know. I just watched it and I'm like, yep, this is a dumb action movie where I feel like there's no stakes. Cool. That was it. And the only moment of stakes in the movie was Rick Flag killing Enchantress's heart. And I was like, well, at least they did that. And then she gets up anyway. And I'm like, well, all right, whatever. And a lot of people don't watch superhero movies like that. They use regular movies to do that, and superhero movies are supposed to be the fun. And I get that. I just personally like a little more thought in my superhero movies, which is few and far between. So there's apparently 2 different cuts of this movie. There is David Ayer's this is my cut of the movie. I don't believe that for a second. They got the studio who did the trailers to cut the movie. It's very obvious, and it doesn't fit with the darkness of the movie. Apparently there is a cut where characters are introduced later. The Joker should have been introduced in that scene where they take the guy in and he's strapped into the chair and he walks out and he goes blah 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 and he grabs his shoulders. That should have been his introduction into the movie. That should have been the first time we see him. He does all that, then he tortures the guy. That would have been a good introduction to the Joker. The next scene we see him, maybe he grabs the gun and says, "This looks neat," and stabs it into the person or the syringe or whatever. That's what I wanted out of the Joker. Just scenes like that, little ones, and then the flashback. I guess I'll go into all the flashbacks. The flashbacks, I feel like we're super rushed, criminally rushed for Harley. Harley's origin's interesting. I would have watched 15 minutes straight of just Harley's origin. Let me see how the Joker manipulated her. Let me see all this stuff. Instead, we got 40 seconds of the Joker talking to her, then later in the movie 40 seconds of her willingly falling into the pit into the acid, and then we saw some scenes there's a scene where Joker hits her, which seems pretty important. They didn't really touch on the abusive relationship. Seems pretty important. It was in a bubble that went by in half a second, and that was the only thing I saw. Apparently there was a part in that also said that Harley helped kill Robin. That seems important. This is stuff I want to see. I don't want to see it in a bubble that goes really quickly in a flash on the screen. It just didn't do it for me. Very much would have preferred longer flashback in maybe the beginning or maybe the middle of the movie, where I see the full origin, because I still don't understand. She was already kind of crazy. Was she just admitting that she was crazy? But then it doesn't. You know why? Because at the end of the movie they show everybody what they want. Harley just wanted to be normal. So she's not even she's doing it for Joker, I guess. So she just loves him and she's just doing it for him. Is that what this Harley's doing? She's not actually crazy? I don't know. That I didn't understand that. I think that scene should have been her, crazy Harley, Joker, crazy Joker. Then it pans down to their kids who are also crazy. Maybe they put one in the stroller, they go out for a walk, and their whole neighborhood looks like them. They're all clown people that are all tattooed and stuff. That would have been cool. She sees herself as normal, and everybody else is the weirdo, rather than she knows that she's a weirdo. That just doesn't work for me. That's not what a crazy person would do. They wouldn't know that they're crazy. I don't know. It was weird. She also did that thing at one point that I really, really liked. Props to Margot Robbie on this scene, where she's clearly sad that the Joker's dead. And she's broken her Harley Quinn character until Deadshot comes out, and then she scurries on the car and she's like, hi boys. She acts like Harley again. That was awesome. Really like that. That was a good Harley moment. So yeah, overall I was just disappointed with this movie. This is not what I want out of a superhero movie or a DC movie at all. The tone didn't feel like it fit the universe. Obviously, it's directed by a different director, but Man of Steel and BVS, however you feel about those movies, feel like they belong together to me. This movie doesn't feel like it fits anywhere in there. and it bothered me. I was watching it, I was like, this just doesn't feel like it fits in that universe at all. So I'm worried a little bit. Wonder Woman, we've seen they took the dark like sepia tone thing off the movie that they had in the CW footage. Very concerned that this is the new path that they're going down, and if it is, I mean, I'll still watch the movies because I love those characters, but like I haven't seen a Marvel movie since Age of Ultron, I guess, and I hated that. Yeah, like I watched the first waves and the Avengers, and then I kind of stopped because I was like, I don't really like this style movie, and I don't have any attachment to these characters. I have an attachment to these DC characters, so I'll watch the movies, but like I don't want to go to the movie Suicide Squad, watch it, and be like, yep, it's an action movie where there's some people, like I just don't want that out of my movie, but I'm harping on that too much. But Wonder Woman does look like they brightened it up, and they might be going down the same similar path. Fingers crossed that Wonder Woman is the best movie in the DC. I would love them to get better and better and better as we go. So what would I want out of a sequel? It seems like they already greenlit a sequel, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong on that. What would I want out of a sequel? I would want, obviously, I would want a smaller team. Keep Deadshot. Keep Harley. Hopefully have a Harley origin somewhere else in this universe, maybe in the Batman movie, whatever. Do Harley's origin justice. Or just do it in the Ultimate Cut, whatever. Then you already have origins for characters. You probably want Captain Boomerang too. So we'll say those three stay. You already have origins for those characters, so you don't need to do the origins anymore. You just need to do the origins of the new people. And I would only use maybe 3 new people and kill off 2 of them. Kill off 3 of them. Like, not the 3 new people, but kill off them, and 2 of them in Boomerang or something. Like, let me see that there's stakes, that characters that I like may actually die. Not that I feel safe with them. The only person that's going to die is the one that didn't get the background story. Whoa, that was impressive. I don't want that. And for the team, I would want Killer Frost for sure. She's one of my favorite DC villains ever. I would want Killer Frost on the team. Who else would I want on the team? I would say King Shark, but they said that they didn't want to do him because he was too difficult. Once again, this is going a little off topic, but I just want to... Who would I want? I guess Deathstroke wouldn't be bad. He would bring people. He's got an interesting origin too, even though it's a little similar. Most of them are similar though. So I'd do Killer Frost, I'd do Deathstroke, and I would do... I want to say Reverse Flash because I think that would be cool, but I want more of a mercenary style character. Somebody who's not like super, super, super powerful. You can't put the Joker on the team. I don't know. But just a team of... maybe the Riddler. The Riddler would be cool. Maybe, but just a team of people, you do their new origins, you introduce them, and then maybe you can start killing them off, and there's actually stakes. That's the problem with using people like Deathstroke. They probably want to keep them. But anyway, that's what I want out of sequel. I definitely want a sequel to this movie. I liked it enough that I would go see the sequel for sure, even if it's just for like more Harley and Joker, because they worked really well together, I feel like. But I do feel like this movie just... It was a home run. The bases were loaded, and they just missed the ball real bad, unfortunately. Yeah, so the future of the DCU, I'm fine with it. I think it's in a fine place. The worst part about the future of the DCU is that 50% of people liked this style movie and 50% of people hated it. And it seems like the people that liked the last movie hated this one, and liked this one hated the last one. And that's not a good place to be in, because now you're at a point where no matter what you do, unless you can find a happy medium, no matter what you do, you're pissing off 50% of people. Like, this movie is becoming like a presidential election where there's a certain percent of people who it doesn't matter, they're getting these votes, and it doesn't matter for this group of people because they're getting these votes too. Like, I don't want that in my movies. That's a problem. Also, I talked about it in the spoiler. This movie does not deserve a 20 whatever on Rotten Tomatoes. That's just ridiculous. The movie is not that bad. It's just I would liken it to Jurassic World and stuff. It's just a fun popcorn movie with no meat, no substance, and poor editing. That's what it comes down to. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Blu-ray. I'm really looking forward to, if they're just deleted scenes, I'll watch them. If it's an Ultimate Edition or an alternate cut, I'm 1000% down. I would probably buy that digitally to see it earlier. I would absolutely love that. But And those are my thoughts on the Suicide Squad, guys. Fingers crossed for Wonder Woman. Fingers crossed for the Justice League, even though I don't like the Flash. I hope this all pans out beautifully, but we'll see exactly what happens. So be sure to like, share, subscribe, guys. Thank you so much for watching.